You clean a room. And for a brief moment, you experience one of life's smaller illusions. Everything is in place. The surfaces are clear. The chair is visible again. The mysterious pile in the corner has been dealt with. Civilization, it seems, has been restored. And yet within days the room begins to slide. A glass appears. A cable settles somewhere it does not belong. One piece of paper quietly invites 6 more. A jacket takes up residence on a chair, as if paying rent. And before long, the room is no longer clean. It is becoming itself again. Now, we usually treat this as a personal failure. A lack of discipline, a weak system, poor standards, possibly moral decline. But there may be something larger going on. Because one of the quiet truths of life is this: order does not maintain itself. It has to be renewed, protected, repeated, and the moment that stops, things begin to drift. That drift has a name: entropy. This, incidentally, is why so many worthwhile things feel more fragile than they should. Not because they are fake, not because they were never real, but because reality itself often needs support. That can sound discouraging, but I think there is also something strangely helpful in it. Because once you accept that drift is normal, you stop being so theatrically surprised by it. You stop thinking, why is this happening? And start asking, what has stopped being maintained? That is often a better question. Why am I less focused than I used to be? Maybe because attention, like a garden, does not improve when neglected. Why does this relationship feel flatter? Maybe because warmth, like most valuable things, does not become self-employed. Why does life feel slightly more chaotic than it did 6 months ago? Possibly because entropy has been doing what entropy does while you were busy dealing with other things. And this matters because people often expect decline to announce itself, but usually it doesn't. It arrives quietly, through postponed conversations, untaken walks, unread books, unfixed corners, unexamined resentment, tiny lapses in care that seem too small to matter, until one day they are the whole picture. That is the style of entropy, not melodrama, accumulation, and there is something almost offensive about how ordinary it is. We like meaningful crises, turning points, big explanations, but many forms of decline are painfully untheatrical. Your standards do not collapse in one grand scene. They are negotiated downward in small, private moments. Your life rarely falls apart with opera in the background. It usually becomes slightly less intentional, week by week, while you continue answering messages and pretending this is temporary. That is why entropy is such a powerful idea. Not because it tells us that everything is doomed, but because it removes the fantasy that anything valuable will remain good automatically. And that includes you, your clarity, your patience, your courage, your health, your marriage, your home, your work, your inner life. None of these things become stable simply because you once handled them well. That is the difficult part. And also, oddly, the hopeful part. Because if decay were random, you could do very little about it, but much of what falls apart in life falls apart in a very understandable way. It was not fed, not repaired, not repeated, not protected, which means care still matters. Small care, especially, not dramatic reinvention, not becoming a new person by Tuesday, just the unglamorous act of returning, back to the habit, back to the conversation, back to the standard, back to the part of life that doesn't shout for attention, but quietly shapes everything. This is one of the more mature things a person can learn. The good does not usually survive on intention alone, it survives on renewal. And perhaps that is why maintenance feels so humbling. Because it forces you to admit that order is not a possession. It is a practice. You do not own it, you participate in it. And the moment you stop, entropy begins to make its case. Calmly, patiently, without malice, with excellent consistency. So no, the law of entropy is not just about physics. It is also one of the quieter laws of ordinary life. Things drift, good things especially, not because they are worthless, but because they are worth sustaining. And maybe that is the better way to see it. The fact that something needs care does not make it weak. It may be the clearest sign that it matters. A room, a body, a friendship, a family, a mind, a civilization. All of them require more than admiration. They require upkeep, which is less exciting, of course. But then again, decline has always had the easier job. And that may be the simplest version of entropy anyone can understand. What is good rarely stays good by itself. It must be kept, again, and again, and again. Not forever, perfectly, just longer than neglect would allow.